but you know, I'm not starvation. I'm not, I gotta drop some weight. Okay, there you go.
Good afternoon. I'll call the meeting to order. Well, first, let's do a roll call, please.
Chair Duncan.
Here.
Vice Chair Nunley.
Here.
Commissioner Manfor.
Here.
Commissioner Griffin is absent. Commissioner Jefferson. Here. Commissioner Osmani is absent. Commissioner Ramos.
Here.
Commissioner Ross.
Here.
Commissioner Stajabu.
Here.
Commissioner Starks is absent, and Commissioner Wood was absent.
All right, thank you. So we have a quorum. Madam Clerk, are there any changes to the agenda today?
There is not.
Okay, since there are none, we will move to the public comments section of the agenda. Madam Clerk, can you read the consent item wording? Or excuse me, can you read the public comment script?
Persons wishing to address the commission on subjects not on the agenda but within the jurisdiction of the commission may do so at this time. The commission cannot discuss or take action on matters not on the agenda for this meeting. To speak on an agenda item, please fill out a speaker card and give it to the clerk. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes per item.
And do we have any speakers today?
We do not.
Okay. Now we will move to the consent items. Will you please read the consent item wording?
All items listed on consent are to be approved by one motion unless a commissioner or the public requests that separate action is taken on the specific item.
All right, so commissioners, can I ask for a motion to approve the consent item?
Motion.
All right, so I believe that was moved by Commissioner Manfor and seconded by Commissioner Stajabu. She says she can't hear down here, so. Please speak up. If there are no objections, we'll pass the motion to approve the consent items. Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. Now we will move on to the public hearing. Madam Clerk, can you read the title of item number 2?
Approval to amend various prior year's action plans for Community Development Block Grant. Approval to amend and execute the CDBG and home loan agreement to provide an additional $4.9 million to Saybrook Apartments with Jamboree Housing Corporation or related entity.
Thank you, and we will have a presentation from staff. Christine?
Thank you. Yes, Christine Weigert with Development. Tonight I'll be presenting 2 reports, both requesting authorization for additional funding to previously approved affordable housing developments. Before I launch into the individual presentations, I would like to give a quick overview on what has been happening to development costs over the last couple of years. Issues have not only affected Saybrook and Cornerstone, the items before you tonight, but other projects as well. And I should also add that SHRA staff, consisting of architects, engineers, and other construction professionals, do review and approve all construction budgets prior to recommending funding. In addition, they approve all construction draws prior to funds being dispersed. So with that, the common development issues we've been having there has been an increase in overall construction costs in general. Construction contingencies at the outset of a project, typically between 5 and 10% of the construction budget, are usually sufficient to cover unexpected increases to construction costs, but that has not been true recently. Costs have far exceeded the anticipated cost in the last year or two, or actually 2 or 3 years. 2, there's been an increase in insurance rates. I'm sure you've all heard about it on the news. Issues such as fires and other natural disasters have increased insurance rates, actually making them skyrocket. And 3rd, probably the most important item, is that after COVID, there were supply disruptions, which are causing delays and longer construction times. Equipment orders such as electric switch gears are in back order, and it takes months longer than anticipated to receive them. The longer the construction timelines are, it means paying more in interest on construction loans. Even more concerning is variable interest rates, and they've gone on considerably longer than the 2 years that we anticipated construction to be, and caused higher costs. So in January of this year, when we released our application to accept funding for applications for funding, we received 5 projects that were previously funded that were asking for additional funding. I can't tell you how unheard of that is. When reviewing the funding applications, we looked at various factors before considering additional funding from SHRA. First, the increased project cost allowed developers to receive additional tax credit equity. So we confirmed the developer was leveraging these additional funds. 2, we also confirmed the developer was borrowing as much money as possible for the bank because rents may have increased, meaning they could increase their loan. And 3rd, we ensured that the developer decreased their development fee, that they were deferring or contributing as much of their fee as possible to the project. So, with all that in mind, I'll be presenting on the 2 projects, but there'll be a 3rd coming before you in June that the staff is recommending for additional funding. So with that general overview, I'd like to talk about Saybrook. Saybrook is seeking your approval for an additional $4.9 million in CDBG and home funds towards the rehabilitation and new construction of Saybrook Apartments. This is also a public hearing because we need to amend various action plans to allocate the CDBG funds to the project. Saybrook's located at 47th Avenue near Highway 99, and the site was transformed from a motel to 60 affordable units in 2005. Saybrook is composed of families with at least 1 member having mental or physical disabilities and are formerly homeless. The projects are project-based, the units that are existing now, and that assures that residents only pay 30% of their income on rent, and there's also a manager's unit. In addition to the existing units, construction is underway on 27 new units, from studios to 3 bedrooms with area median incomes between 30% and 60%. Previously, Jamboree Housing, the developer, received approval of $8.4 million from SHRA for the project. Domus Management Company will continue to be the property manager, and Lutheran Social Services and Housing with Heart will provide case management and resident services. The scope of work for Saybrook remains consistent since approval in June 2021. However, the overall project costs have increased by $13 million. Most of the increases are due to high construction and environmental remediation costs, requirements of vapor barriers, waterproofing, and ventilation increased costs and delayed the project. That delay drove up interest rates and increased relocation costs. SHRA funding will cover about 1/3 of the additional costs, with the tax credits, higher loan amount, and reduced developer fee paying for the remaining increase. So in summary, we're requesting approval for $4.9 million for Saybrook, which will be complete this summer, and the Jamboree Housing representatives are here with me tonight to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from commissioners?
No questions, just a statement. So yeah, the narrative was very thorough. You corroborated it. We understand what's happening. That's sad, but true. So yeah, I have a position too. It's just what we need to do. Anyway, I just wanted to just reiterate that. I looked at it thoroughly. I was curious. I'm like, well, why? And then I saw the rationale, and that's we should all know about that. So thank you for reminding us. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Ross. Questions or comments from commissioners? Okay. So I will then open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, are there any public comments?
We have none.
All right. I will close the public hearing. And I'd ask the commissioners for a motion to adopt the resolutions.
I'll motion.
First. Motion by Commissioner Ross. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Nunley. If there are no objections, we will pass the motion to adopt the resolutions. All right. Hearing no objections, the motion passes unanimously. We will then move on to the discussion items. Madam Clerk, can you read the title of item number 3, please?
Item 3, approval. Approval to amend the loan agreements and add additional funding for Cornerstone North and Cornerstone South.
Thank you. And there will be a presentation from
Christine Weikert again. So staff is requesting an additional $2 million of home and affordable housing funds for Cornerstone North and South, which is located at 46th Avenue near Highway 99. The project is 108 units of multifamily affordable on land that was previously owned by SHRA. 16 project-based vouchers have been awarded to the development, and the units are 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms with incomes ranging from 30 to 60% of area median income. Mutual Housing previously received $12 million in financing plus a seller carryback for the land from SHRA. Mutual Housing will be the property manager for the project and provide resident services. In addition, Lutheran Social Service will provide a case manager. The scope of work for Cornerstone remains consistent since its approval in January 2022. However, the overall project costs have increased by over $9 million. Again, most of that increase is due to higher construction costs, interest rates, and insurance. SHRA additional funding will cover approximately a quarter of the additional funds that, being requested with tax credits, loans, and additional loans, and deferred developer fee paying for the rest of the increase. Construction on Cornerstone North and South has recently been completed, and they've just recently started leasing out their residents. But in closing, staff's requesting an additional $2 million, and representatives for Mutual Housing are here to answer any questions along with me.
Thank you. Are there any questions from commissioners at this time? Any comments?
Same as before. Yeah, there you go. Costs go up and it's needed.
Are there any public comments on this item?
There's not.
Oh, Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Ramos.
Thank you. I'm just curious, so it sounds like this is an ongoing issue, right? These costs and interest rates are going up. Is there anything that we're doing to sort of respond to that and build that into how we're costing things out going forward? Because who knows if they'll continue to go up or what other contingencies might occur. What are we doing to address this going forward?
Yes, absolutely. So I think you saw maybe 4 or 5 projects last commission meeting, I'm not sure. All of which we took into the new reality that we're living in under consideration. So you would have seen much higher interest rates. We can only know what we know today, but we know what we anticipate them at least being as high as they are today. We're looking at an improving higher construction cost since we would have been doing 2 or 3 years ago when we approved these projects. So we'd really rely on our construction staff to look at those for us. So yes, we are taking everything we've learned into consideration. I guess the one variable we can't control is, the supply chain issue. Things have gotten better, but there are still delays. So hopefully by the time, the projects we just approved are under construction, that won't be such an issue. But we are taking that into consideration.
Commissioner Ross.
I did have one question, kind of a question comment. I forgot to ask it kind of at the beginning, but it's sort of related to cost. So finding these extra funds, right? So that's what I was reading about. Is that, there happened to be unspent, CDBG funding and so forth, if I'm recalling, right? And I guess I would be fortunate enough to have that. That's what was going through my mind. I'm like, well, okay, costs are going up. Kind of related to his question, we found some money that wasn't spent. So when the other costs go up, where is that? Are there other unspent monies, so to speak, that can be found? Or are we going up to what Commissioner Ramos was saying, we're going to be running into a problem next year because this cost increases and maybe even the contingencies that have been already embedded in there have been surpassed. So that's my question.
Well, and to be clear, so at least twice a year, we advertise funds available. And those funds are all the different funding, federal, state, local, that SHRA receives for both the city and the county for affordable housing. And we publish that. We put it on our website. we reach out to all the affordable developers, so they know that's been published. And then when they put in applications, they know how much funding we have available, and they apply and compete based on our priorities for funding. So when they applied, those 5 projects I told you about that applied for additional funding, they came in under that funding round with funds being, already advertised and available at that point. So they were competing with new construction projects. They were
Okay.
competing with each other.
So you're not having to find new money, you're just advertising what's available, and that's, and so if we got it, we got it. If we don't have it, then we're not advertising.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn this over to Lachelle. I will say, just amend what I said. The one thing was with the CDBG funds for
Yeah.
Saybrook, but that was additional funding, but that was just, I think, $1 million above all the money I'm talking about here. Oh, you would say that?
We've been working together.
I know.
Yeah, and I was just, do we normally don't have CDBG money not spent?
No, what happens is, maybe I'll
That
have
was my other
Stephanie come
question.
up here and help me remember
Yeah.
all the details of this. But as I recall, these were loan repayments and program income that we had received over the years. So we use CDBG as we use a lot of our funds over the years, that we make loans and we receive payments. Sometimes we receive payoffs. So maybe we laid $1 million loan 10, 20, 30 years ago, and somebody actually pays us off, which is great. I think that was one of the source of those CDBG funds, the additional funds, and I'm gonna look at Stephanie to confirm that.
Yeah.
Nope, no, I didn't. She's gonna tell you really what happened. Here she is.
Well, that's correct, the program income, but we also have capital reserve that we set aside each year in the action plan, and that is a contingency that we do set aside for all of the projects and programs that we've done for CDBG. So some of that came out of those prior years' action plans, contingency buckets as well.
Okay, excellent, good planning, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Can I ask for a motion to adopt the resolution?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Amanfor
Second.
and seconded by Commissioner Ramos. If there are no objections, we'll pass the motion to adopt the resolution. Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously.
And we're getting fast down on this end, right to left. That's better. Put on the radar, thank you. Commissioner Wu's not here. No one can beat him. There we go.
We'll move on to the executive director's report.
So, good afternoon, commissioners. A couple of quick things. Central Sacramento Studios, we have a schedule for the ribbon cutting on that particular project, which is right across the street. So this is gonna take place Thursday, May 16th from 10 to 11. So we'll also send out more details via email, but please make sure if you're able to work that into your schedule, it'd be great. Especially if you let Amber know in advance, that would be also helpful. Did you have a question? Okay. And then also the next meeting is set for May 1st, so please make sure that that's on your calendars. And I believe that Amber also has followed up with you regarding the request for Chromebooks. So you should have those ready and available to you. I think they're like a 17-inch screen that you can bring with you, use it from home to go over the agenda packet. However, paper copies will still be available for those who are paper-minded. And with that, that's all of my updates.
All right, thank you. And also thank you for the information that we have so far about the fire that occurred at the project at 19th Street between X and Broadway. I don't have anything to report. Do any commissioners have anything to report? Commissioner Manford?
Not necessarily a report, but just a question. I know we have a commissioner seat slated for Melvin Griffin. Is there any plan in regards to that seat? Because quite honestly, I've never seen this person, but I'm not sure what's going on behind that, but I think it would be a great opportunity to have another additional person from the community to possibly take on that role if the person is no longer here.
And I can follow with you afterwards and give you some backstory.
Okay.
Any other, Commissioner Ross?
Yes, so I am, so just to let you know, Amber, I'm hopeful to make the mutual, the mutual housing on the Boulevard grand opening on the April 29th. So hopefully I'll be able to make that. My schedule still stays available on that. I'll see what happens on the 16th. Thank you.
Any other announcements, comments? Okay. Since there's no other business, I will adjourn this meeting.
That's